Hi guys, this is Mr. Cantrell, your friendly neighborhood music teacher, and I'm here today to do an interview for Veterans Day with my favorite veteran. Please say hello to Luther Ernest Cantrell Jr. He is nicknamed Pete, and he is an Army veteran. Everybody say hi.
Ah,
How you doing, Dad?
doing fine, thank you.
Good. And tell everybody where you're at right now.
Where I at? I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, out at my oldest son's house, Lee.
Right. So he's in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I grew up. That's where that Patricia. And is that where you grew up, Nashville?
Right, I did.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. Now I've got questions from some kids, and then I've got some things for other. Tell us which branch of the service that you served in.
I served in the United States Army.
All right. Marion from 3rd grade wants to know, when did you join the Army?
I didn't join the Army. They drafted me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So what does that mean when it says they drafted you?
There's two ways you can go into the Army. One is by being drafted. That is, they come out to your house and say you've got to go. Or the other way is you can volunteer for the service. And it was during the Korean conflict that I was drafted during that period of time.
Okay. Okay. And that was 1952. Is that right?
No, I went in 1950. Well, January of 54 would be better.
54. Yes. Okay. 52. That's great. And here's one for me. Where did you serve in the Army?
Well, I took my basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. I had 16 weeks of basic training there, and then I was shipped overseas, and I spent almost 2 years in England.
What was your favorite of your time in the military? What was your favorite memory?
Well, the favorite memories was the fact that I went overseas and I got to see a lot of things that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And I enjoyed going to the different places in London, in Oxford, England, and Munich, Germany. Went to Garmisch, Parkenkirchen. Went to Hitler's Nest up at Berchtesgaden.
Awesome.
So those are things that I really enjoy.
Yeah. Had you ever been overseas before to Europe?
Before that time?
Mm-hmm.
Before that, no.
Okay.
I hadn't been much out of Tennessee before that time.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Nevaeh from 4th grade wants to know, what did you do in the military?
What I did in the military was I served in the 32nd Army Band in London. We were stationed, the last station was just outside of London, England. And what we did in the band is we played concerts and we did parades. Fortunately, our band appeared on the BBC in London, England, with a program that we had performed at the Woolwich Searchlight Tattoo, which was a military show in Woolwich, England.
The 5th grade class, Mr. Torres' class, came up with this question. Did you make many friends when you were in the Army?
Made a great many friends. One of my good buddies, Dwight Goodnight. Mm-hmm. He just passed away this year. Bill Costello, and he was from Connecticut. Mm-hmm. Boy named Cook, he was from up in Minnesota. Perfetto, he was over in Massachusetts. A guy named Fowler lived down in Atlanta, Georgia. So I could keep talking all day long.
And you still kept up with them after you got out of the Army?
With Fred Crawford, with Dwight Goodnight, and with Bill Costello, we were real close, and I corresponded with them ever since I've been in the Army up until the time they passed away.
Okay, so next question. Michael from 4th grade says, what was in the Army? What was I guess we kind of already answered this. What was your favorite thing to do?
Well, like I said a while ago, one of the favorite things that I did was travel around a lot. In the service and what I was doing in service, we played concerts and parades uh, from about almost say April through the end of September each year for the 2 years that I was over there. We did a parade, a military parade, almost I'd say 2 to 3 times per month each month.
Oh wow, that's good. Oh,
And
and I here's one for me. What instrument did you play when you were over there?
I played clarinet.
Okay, and you had played that during high school, right?
Yes.
Okay. From Jeremiah in fourth grade, how long were you in the military?
Well, in active service, I was in active service for 2 years. When they drafted me for 8 years. When I got finished my 2 years active service, I was put on what's called the Ready Reserve, and so for the next 6 years, they could call me if there was ever a need for me.
Mhm.
So I went in 1954, and I did not get an honorable discharge until 1962.
Okay, I did not know that. That's great. Okay, what was the hardest thing that you did in the military?
I suppose that the most difficult thing would have been going through the first 8 weeks of basic training,
Mhm.
because that really is getting you in physical condition to do whatever you need to do. Well, actually, I say do whatever you need to do, but if I had gone further in the infantry, I would have been physically able to do whatever's necessary in the infantry. Uh, the first 8 weeks I was in military, we did 8 weeks of basic training under the 8th Infantry Division at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Just a lot of physical activity stuff you weren't
Absolutely, yes, yes.
running and
The,
crawling.
every day, a lot,
There we go.
and sometimes at night.
Yeah, that gets you in shape. Oh, here's one that I wondered. Did you have a nickname when you were in the military?
Yeah, I did.
What was it?
Reb.
Because you were from the South. Okay.
When I got overseas and wound up in England, I went to a little base called Brigstock, England, and the place I was in, the barracks that I was in, assigned to, I'd say that 90% of them in there were from the north,
Mhm.
and so they the ones named me.
They ever make fun of your accent or anything?
Absolutely. Shall I tell them about that?
Sometimes. Do you think he has a funny accent, my dad? It's kind of a southern accent. It's like you hear that in Texas from some people. So there you go.
Let me tell you a little story if you don't
Okay,
mind.
sure, go ahead.
Well, see, when I first got over to Brigstock in England for serving with all these Yankees, they was giving me quotes about being from the South and with my accent. So they really bugged me bad. So the first time I got a pass, I went to a little town called Kettering, England. And so I walked around till I found a record store, and I went in, and the guy had to ask me what I'd like to have. And I said, well, what I would really like to have is the worst country record you've got. And he said, okay. So finally he played one, and it was awful. God, I couldn't even stand it myself. But at any rate, I bought it, and I went back to the barracks, and I waited till Sunday morning. Well, on Sundays, one of the nice things about the Army is when you get stationed, you have Sundays off and you can sleep late. So about 7:30 to 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, I got up and I turned on my record real loud where everybody in the barracks could hear. They were all mad and cussing like I never heard before. But you know what? They never did bug me about my accent again.
That's a good one, Dad. Riley from third grade wants to know, did you ever get injured when you were in the Army?
Did I ever say that again? I'm
Did you
sorry.
ever get injured or hurt?
Oh, well, one time, but it was just, it had we were doing, we were washing the band bus, and I stepped into a hole that was covered with water. I
Mhm.
didn't know, and went forward and kind of sprained my knee, but otherwise, no.
Mm, okay. A bunch of kids ask about what you would eat in the Army. So what was the best thing that you ate when you were in the Army? Besides outside of base.
Um, well, most of the time, we would have a meat and two or three vegetables each day for
Mhm.
lunch or for dinner. Breakfast, it could be a number of things: bacon, eggs, oatmeal, cereal.
Mhm.
It just varied from day to day. You get a well balanced meal in the Army. When I went in the Army, I weighed 111 pounds.
Really? Okay. That's not
And
a
so
lot.
that ain't very much talk. I'd venture to say that you got some people sitting back there right now that almost crack 111.
I got some fifth graders, yeah, that are definitely that.
But
Uh,
at any
Go ahead.
rate,
Go ahead.
when I went in, I said, "Man, you don't want a skinny guy." They said, "We'll put fat on you." So when I came out of basic training, I weighed 128.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Hey,
Does
hey.
that
Okay.
does that does that tell you about what the kind of food I had?
Exactly. Yeah. It beefed you up. Did you have it? Is there anything that you specifically that was like the worst thing that you ate that you remember?
I really don't remember anything bad that I had to
Okay.
eat. But one thing I did have that I'd never had before was pizza.
Really? You had never had
That
pizza before?
I'd never, before I was in the Army, I'd never eaten pizza. And so one Sunday, we went up there for our meal at lunchtime, and the cook said, "Hey," said, "how about giving us contribute some money?" Said, "What we fixed for supper tonight?" Said, "We'll fix a big pizza." And he had, I don't know how many pizzas that night. And that's the first time I ate pizza and loved it ever since.
Kevin in second grade wants to know, did you ever ride in a tank?
No.
Okay. Anthony in third grade wants to know, did you have fun when you were in the Army?
Did I have what?
Did you have fun?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It was very, very nice. Very nice. You
Mhm.
meet a lot of nice, you do meet a lot of nice people. And like I said a while ago, you get to travel a lot. You get to see a lot of things you wouldn't see otherwise.
Did you get to
And
eat pizza? Yeah.
right.
Okay, here's another one. Omar in third grade wants to know, when you were over there, how did you celebrate Christmas?
We we were off. I think we had 5 days off during that period of Christmas time,
Mhm.
and so we, I, the fellows, the several fellows, and myself went into London, and we stayed in London for 5 days. Um, Two or three things during Christmas or before Christmas. We went to met several people, went to several parties. Christmas Day, we Christmas Eve, I should say. I started watching and still do watching midnight mass from the Vatican. Uh,
Okay.
the next day, we sometimes we didn't go to church on in London, but it was a quiet day.
Okay. Cool. That's cool. Carmelo in third grade wants to know, did you ever get in trouble when you were in the military, with the military, I guess?
Well, yeah, one time, one time the sergeant come through on an inspection. They, you know, every morning they'd come by and inspect the barracks, inspect you to see that you were clean, that your boots were shined, everything was in proper order. And one morning, I just kind of halfway depressed, and uh, the sergeant come through and says, "Reb, says, when did you shine them boots last?" I said, "I don't know. I don't even remember." "Well, when are you going to shine them?" "Well, I really hadn't thought about it." I said. He said, "Well, what I'm going to do is just says, come on out here. I'm going to do you a favor." And he put me outside, and I was mowing the lawn. I started mowing the lawn with a push mower. And so he went on and inspected the next barrack. And when he come back by, it was snowing. And I said, "Gee, Sarge," I said, "you must have stayed up all night to figure this one out for me."
Oh, last thing. Can you pick out maybe one? I know. I've told all the kids that you've told me lots and lots of stories from the Army. So you want to pick out your best one and tell it to us?
Well, probably the best thing. Well, yeah. The we one time we were over in Frankfurt, Germany. Went and well started off down in Munich, Germany, and wound up going to Frankfurt and had to catch a plane back because we did a job and we had to get back, and we had to land in the fog, which was a experience in and of itself. But it was necessary that we got back because the band played. We had scheduled to play, and we played in downtown London. We played at the premiere of the movie To Hell and Back, starring Audie Murphy. He was the most decorated soldier in the Second World War, and the movie was about Audie, and it was necessary our band played for it and for the people down there. So that's one of the nicest things, the best experience I had. Playing on BBC television was nice. Playing at the Woolwich Tattoo was nice. Also, those things stand out mostly in my mind. At Woolwich, we met a lot of the British bandsmen. So, and I've got a couple of pictures there at the house where it was taken with the British soldiers and bandsmen. Okay.
That's pretty cool. There's such a history with the British bands that were there. There's a lot of music written for British bands and British brass bands.
Well, they're real strict, and if you listen to British music, the music sounds just like the band.
You want to tell everybody a little bit what happened after you got out of the Army?
Well, after I got out of the Army, one of the things that was nice, I met some good people in the Army. And as a result of that, when I had been drafted, I worked a couple of years after I got out of high school. Well, some people that I met there in the Army, they were real intelligent people. They had gone, several of them had gone to, and several had completed college. So when I got out, I had made up my mind that I was going to college. And when I got back, I went and I applied for and finally was accepted at University of Tennessee there. So I got up there, and by that time I'd been out of high school 5 years. Mm-hmm. And so when I went up there, I said, I'm going to leave here one of two ways. I'm going to leave with a graduation, or they're going to throw me. I ain't going to quit. After I got through with that, I came back to Nashville, and there I enrolled in the Nashville School of Law, and I worked during the day and went to night school for 4 years to get my law degree and pass the bar exam to practice law.
And then you were a lawyer for several decades in Nashville, right?
For almost 40 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then, and you didn't want to put it there, University of Tennessee, that's where you met Mom, right?
Oh, yes, she was from Elko, Tennessee, and
Mm.
I guess maybe a year behind me, but I met her up there at the same time. I met my good friend Tom Bowman, and Tom and myself met Barbara and Marilyn Carey at the same time. We reason we ate at the same place, so we got to kind of know them at that time. We started dating them. Tom married her. I married Barbara, your mama.
Dad, well, thanks for doing this from everybody at Lowry Road, and especially for me. We want to thank you for your service to our country, and thanks for helping enlighten some of these kids and seeing my favorite veteran. So thank you very much, sir.
All right, my boy. I appreciate doing it.
All right, happy Veterans Day.
Same.